Okay, look at you. Seriously, take a second. Be honest with me here. You're tired, right? Like bone deep tired? Your back probably hurts a little bit, maybe right in the lower lumbar. You've got that annoying hay fever in the spring. You're anxious about that email you didn't send. And let's face it, you probably need glasses just to see this video clearly. You feel fragile, normal, boring even. Like if the Wi-Fi went out for a week, you'd be the first one to go. But you're wrong. You are actually a biological tank. You are the result of the most brutal, cutthroat survival contest in the history of this planet. We are talking about Ice Age survivors, the genetic superpowers you still carry. That is exactly who you are. And here is the payoff, okay? Stick with me because by the end of this, I'm going to prove to you that the traits you think are flaws, your anxiety, your bad back, your insomnia, they aren't bugs. They're features. They're dormant superpowers that let your ancestors survive an apocalypse while everyone else froze to death. And, spoiler alert, we might actually need those superpowers again sooner than you think, because where humanity is going next, it's going to be a lot colder and a lot deadlier than the Ice Age. So, to understand why you are the way you are, we gotta go back, way back, like 60,000 years ago. The world wasn't just cold, it was a mess. We call it the Ice Age, but it was really this chaotic roller coaster where the climate would swing from manageable to absolute frozen hellscape in the span of a human lifetime. It was the ultimate filter. If you were weak, you died. If you were stupid, you died. If you were inflexible, you definitely died. Every single human alive today is a descendant of the tiny, tiny group of weirdos who managed to survive that filter. We are the children of the ones who didn't freeze. And here is where it gets spicy. You know those DNA kits? The ones that tell you you're like 2% Neanderthal, and you go, oh, cool, and then never think about it again? Yeah, you should think about it, because that 2% isn't just junk DNA. It's the cheat codes. It's the survival manual that kept your ancestors alive. See, when our ancestors, Homo sapiens, walked out of Africa, they were tropical creatures, tall, skinny, built for heat. Then they hit Europe, and it was freezing. They should have died, but they didn't, because they met the locals, the Neanderthals. And let's just say they liked each other a lot. Wink. So we hybridized. We stole their code. And you can still feel it today. Here's a test. Are you a morning person, like annoyingly so? You wake up at 5 a.m. ready to reorganize the dishwasher while everyone else is still a zombie? Stop apologizing for it. Seriously, that is your Neanderthal superpower. In Africa, the day is always 12 hours long. It's consistent. Your internal clock can be rigid. But in high-latitude Europe, the days are short in winter and endless in summer. To survive, you needed a circadian rhythm that was flexible, that could snap you awake the second the sun came up to maximize hunting time. If you're a night owl, you're running on African time. If you're a morning lark, you're running on Ice Age time. You aren't uncool, you're evolutionary royalty. But okay, here's the darker side of the trade. Raise your hand if you have a low pain tolerance. You stub your toe and it feels like you've been shot. Yeah, me too. That's the SCN9A gene. It's a gift from our Neanderthal cousins. Scientists found that people with specific Neanderthal variants of this gene feel more pain. Why? Why would evolution want us to hurt more? That sounds dumb, right? It's actually genius. Cruel, but genius. In the Ice Age, there were no antibiotics, no hospitals, no Advil. If you got a sprain or a cut and you ignored it, you died. gangrene, infection, game over. The people who survived were the ones who felt so much pain that they were forced to stop. They rested, they healed. The tough guys who ignored the pain and kept hunting, they didn't make it. Your sensitivity is a survival shield. It forced your ancestors to take care of themselves. It's a biological splint. Actually, wait, speaking of pain, look at this comment from Caveman Dave 26 on our last video. He says, "Wait, so my chronic back pain is a survival trait? Can I tell my boss that?" Dave, my man, absolutely. You look your boss in the eye and tell him your SCN9A gene is actively preventing you from dying of gangrene, so you need to lie down. It's not laziness, Dave, it's evolutionary prudence. Let me know how that meeting goes. But seriously, it goes deeper. Even things like depression might be part of this package. There's this theory called the infection defense hypothesis. It suggests that the lethargy, the desire to just stay in bed and not see anyone, that might have been an adaptation to stop the spread of disease. Think about it. You're in a small tribe. A new virus hits. If you keep running around, you infect everyone. The tribe dies. You die. But if your brain forces you to shut down, to retreat, to conserve energy, you don't infect your family, and you save calories to fight the virus. Your body isn't trying to ruin your life, it's trying to save it, using an outdated manual from 40,000 years ago. So that's the stuff most of us carry, the pain, the sleep, the mood. But then there are the specialists, the mutants, the people who took survival of the fittest and turned it into survival of the weirdest. Act 2, the Mutant Squad. We aren't talking about X-Men here, but we're close. We are talking about people who have hacked their own biology to live in places that would kill you or me in minutes. Let's start at the top of the world, the Tibetans. If I dropped you on the Tibetan plateau right now, like teleported you to 4,000 meters, you'd get sick fast. Your body would panic. It realizes there's 40% less oxygen, so it starts frantically pumping out red blood cells to catch every molecule of air. That sounds good, right? More blood cells? Wrong! It turns your blood into sludge. Thick, sticky, hard to pump. It causes heart attacks, strokes. It's your body trying to save you and accidentally killing you. But Tibetans? They breathe easy. Their blood stays thin. They don't make that extra sludge. They have a special gene called EPAS1. It's basically a limiter on their hemoglobin production. And here is the twist. They didn't evolve it, they stole it. Genetic sequencing proves that this gene came from the Denisovans, that mysterious other human species. It's a super athlete gene that we acquired from a ghost species before they went extinct. It's literally an alien patch code that allows them to live where others die. But maybe you don't like heights. Maybe you prefer the ocean. Let's talk about the Bajau people of Indonesia, the sea nomads. These guys spend 60% of their workday underwater. They can hold their breath for minutes at a time, diving deep to hunt. Now, if you try to hold your breath for 5 minutes, you pass out. But scientists put the Bajau in an MRI and found something wild. They have evolved a genetic mutation that gives them spleens 50% larger than yours or mine. Why a spleen? That sounds random, right? Because your spleen is a biological scuba tank. When you dive, the mammalian dive reflex kicks in. Your spleen contracts and squirts a reserve shot of oxygenated red blood cells into your bloodstream. The Bajau are literally born with a bigger oxygen tank installed. It's hardware, not just software. And it's not just training. Even Bajau people who don't dive have the big spleens. It's in their DNA. Okay, let's get even harder. Let's talk about poison. In the Andes Mountains, in Argentina, there's a place where the groundwater has been laced with arsenic for thousands of years, natural volcanic poison. To you, drinking that water is a slow death sentence. To the indigenous people there, it's just Tuesday. They evolved a variant of the AS3MT gene that metabolizes arsenic and flushes it out before it can kill them. Think about that. While the rest of the world was fighting lions or freezing cold, these guys were winning a chemical warfare battle against the Earth itself. Thin air breathing, organic scuba tanks, poison resistance. This isn't science fiction. This is what happens when you push the human body to the edge. It pushes back. It adapts. And that brings us to the big question. What happens when we push it even further? So why does any of this matter? The Ice Age is over. We have central heating, we have Brita filters, and we have grocery stores. We don't need to drink arsenic or hunt mammoths. But we are about to enter a new Ice Age, a much colder, darker, and deadlier one. Space. NASA and SpaceX want to put humans on Mars, but Mars isn't just a red rock. It's a radiation-blasted, toxic freezer with almost no atmosphere. It's the ultimate bottleneck. And here is the reality check. The perfect astronaut for Mars might not be the Captain America type. It might not be the person with the perfect gym body. It might be the mutant. See, space wants to kill you, specifically radiation. It shreds your DNA like confetti. We are already looking at genes from tardigrades, those microscopic water bears that are basically indestructible. These little guys have a protein called damage suppressor, DSUP, that literally hugs their DNA to shield it from radiation. Scientists are trying to figure out if we can borrow that, like splice it into us. But we might not need to look at water bears. We should look at us. Remember the Andes people who drink arsenic? Mars soil is full of perchlorates, toxic salts. Maybe that AS3MT gene is a prerequisite for colonists. Life support systems might fail. They will fail eventually. If the oxygen scrubber breaks, who survives long enough to fix it? The guy who panics and passes out? Or the person with the Tibetan EPAS1 gene and the Bajau spleen who can function on thin air for just a few minutes longer? That few minutes is the difference between life and death for the whole colony. We're entering a new phase of evolution, Homo Galacticus. And just like the Ice Age, it will be a filter. When we send the first colony ships, we're not just sending people, we're sending a genetic archive. We need the night owls for the night shift, because remember, on Mars, the day length is different too. We need the anxiety-prone for their vigilance, the ones who wake up at every strange noise. We need the weirdos. There's this thing called the founder effect. If you start a colony with 100 people, the future of that entire planet's population depends on the genes in that room. If everyone is the same immune system, same sleep cycle, one virus or one environmental shift wipes them out. Diversity isn't just a buzzword, it's a survival strategy. We need the Ice Age adaptations, the Neanderthal immunity, the high-altitude tolerance to be present in the gene pool. So, bring it back to you, right now, sitting there. The next time your allergies flare up or your back aches or you can't sleep because the sun came up, don't be annoyed. Okay, be a little annoyed. It sucks. But remember what that feeling is. It's the echo of a survivor. It's the ghost of a Neanderthal protecting you. If you're an introvert who hates crowds, maybe you're just practicing infection defense. You're the designated survivor for the next pandemic. If you're anxious, you're the sentry. You're the one who hears the tiger or the airlock leak before anyone else. You're not broken, you're just preloaded for the apocalypse. You're a Swiss Army knife that's mostly closed right now because, well, life is easy. But the easy times don't last forever. The environment changes, the climate shifts. We move to new planets. And when that happens, the flaws you carry might just be the superpower that saves your great-great-grandchildren on the red planet. So wear your back pain with pride, Dave. You're a survivor. And look, science is moving fast. We are starting to edit these genes. We're looking at CRISPR. But before we start deleting things we think are bad, we need to understand why they're there. Evolution doesn't make mistakes, it makes trade-offs. And we are just now figuring out the receipt for those trades. We are a mosaic. We are part Neanderthal, part Denisovan, part ghost species. We're a walking museum of every disaster our ancestors survived. And that is the coolest thing about being human. We aren't finished. We're a work in progress. The Ice Age shaped us, but space will shape us next. So, Ice Age survivors, that's you. You carry the tools of the past and the keys to the future. Don't let anyone tell you you're weak. You are the descendant of the toughest things that ever walked the earth. Now go take a nap. Your genes demand it. If you want to know what happens to the human brain when we actually do leave Earth, when we are truly alone in the dark, you're going to want to click this video right here, The Psychology of Isolation. It's terrifying. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Stay weird, survivors.